Chapter 61. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Edited content. The old man was sitting on the ground, Fishman Island, Coral Hill, Mermaid Cafe. Mrs. Shirley smashed the crystal ball, refusing to see Fishman Island's terrible future. The sun was slowly rising. Zoro, seeing Caribou still on board, drew a blank. Hey, Luffy, who's this guy? Why's he on our ship? You're so forgetful, Master Zoro. I'm Caribou. Don't you remember? Caribou sidled up, sea stone in hand, trying to be friendly. Oh, right, you. I totally spaced on him when we got to Ryugu Castle, Zoro admitted, dumbfounded. Don't sweat it. He's no threat. We'll ditch him when we're topside. Let him sleep it off, Luffy said, knocking Caribou out cold. What's that, Luffy? Shirahoshi, now in human form, tilted her head at the unconscious Caribou. Just a bad guy. I already taught him a lesson. And Shirahoshi, remember to call me husband, Luffy said, patting Shirahoshi's head. Oh, okay. Luffy. Husband. Shirahoshi squeaked, then hid behind Nami. Luffy, don't tease Shirahoshi. Alright, settle down, everyone. Gather round, I've got something for everyone. Luffy then turned to Nami. Nami, come to my room later. Got something for you. Nami, though puzzled, trusted Luffy. Since his return, he'd had Frankie build him a soundproof room, a private space for him and his girls. Of course, once he won over Nami and Robin, he could come and go from their bedrooms as he pleased. Everyone quickly gathered. I've got a gift for each of you. Oh, and don't be surprised, I also ate a pocket fruit, so this pocket has a huge capacity. Luffy was just using this as an excuse to hide the system's workings, and everyone accepted it without question, already believing Luffy could eat multiple fruits. Luffy soon pulled out the Momo fruit and the black Fang, silver crescent spear, from his pocket. Usopp, these are for you. Don't worry, the fruit has no side effects and isn't affected by seawater. After explaining how to use them, Usopp happily took the items, stowed them away, and ate the Momo fruit. Zoro, these are yours. Luffy produced two new swords, instantly recognizable, Donjang Moi. In fact, Luffy's system inventory also held legendary blades like Tianwen, Tiangang, Mame, Nilin, and Luren Jaka, but he wasn't ready to reveal them yet. Nice swords. Zoro felt their power as soon as he held them. He immediately strapped them to his waist, bringing his total arsenal to 5, Wado Ikemanji, Sandai Kitetsu, Shusui, Ganjiang and Moi. Sanji, this is for you. It'll make your body as strong as iron, even more powerful than Germa 66 in the North Sea, but it won't give you invisibility. Luffy held out a box, deliberately adding the last part. Even without invisibility, I'll take it. Sanji was still thrilled. He'd get to use something even more technologically advanced than Germa 66. Frankie, this is for you. Luffy pulled out a golden transformation device and, in front of everyone, began to transform. There's a way of heaven in this world, so let the way of heaven take care of you. Emperor Armor, combine. Armor combine. A mechanical voice boomed. Power nourishes the body and soul, and the soul condenses the original heart. The heart of heaven peeks into the way, and the great way enlightens the heart refines the soul, and the broken soul gathers power. The throne of the 8 wastelands, the seal of the 6 directions, the imperial power of heaven, the imperial way of wind and cloud, the emperor of the extreme domain, the emperor is unparalleled. Luffy, that's awesome. Usopp and the others suddenly felt their own gifts paled in comparison. Yeah, Luffy's is pretty cool, Nami, who usually didn't care about mecha, admitted. Luffy stopped the transformation and handed the Emperor transformation device to Frankie. Frankie burst into tears. Luffy, you're too much. I can't help but cry. You're such a sap. Robin, this is for you. Luffy summoned a pet from his space, a rabbit-like creature with a red body and a golden diamond mark on its head. His name is Xiaomi. He's as fast as Kizaru, but his evolution is somewhat stunted. He's an elf, and he's a capable fighter. Of course, these are the little guys who are respected by the system and can be domineering. System? System, why do you sound so human? Luffy was taken aback. The system usually used a cold, electronic voice. Host, you misheard, the system replied, reverting to its usual tone. Luffy didn't press the issue. After all, this was a big shot. Meanwhile, outside the pirate world, a woman with purple hair and silver eyes watched the screen and sighed in relief. That was close. He almost figured it out. Let me think, what to give him next time. Ah, this should do it. You should pamper your own people, unlike those guys who one by one have a tendency to abuse people. Good Jiang Cheng, don't let me down. Luffy was unaware of this. Years later, when the woman recalled this moment, she realized she'd underestimated Luffy, losing more than she gained, and getting herself involved. Ah, Luffy, it seems you're getting good at charming the ladies, Robin teased. No, not at all. By the way, Brook, this is for you. Luffy changed the subject, taking out a guitar. This guitar can be used for sonic attacks, and you can hide your sword inside it. It's very light. Luffy pulled off the top of the guitar. Thank you, Mr. Luffy. But I wonder if I might see the lady's panties. Ah, oh ho. Poor Brook was immediately set upon by Nami, Bonnie, Yuta, Luffy, and the others. What about me, Luffy? Chopper hopped around Luffy. Okay, don't worry, I have something for you too. This is for you. Luffy produced a fruit. Human fruit, mythical Zoan, 8-faced Buddha form. Chopper ate it in one gulp, felt his new strength, and happily jumped on Luffy's head. Okay, Xiaomi, sign a contract with Robin first. Luffy pulled Chopper off his head. Chapter 62. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After Yongbin said that, Zhao Kun finally relaxed. He never thought he'd be worried about not working hard, but the apocalypse had taught him that sticking with the strong was the only way to survive. Across from him, Zhou Xiong's face darkened as he watched Zhao Kun cozy up to Yongbin. He might act tough around Zhao Kun and the others, but he knew he didn't stand a chance against those three monsters, not even with his whole crew. He'd seen them slaughter level 3 zombies like they were nothing, which probably meant they were already at level 4, reaching level 4 in just a few days. That was insane. His Taekwondo club only respected strength, and he knew he was outmatched against a level 4. He'd hoped to stay under the radar, but Zhao Kun sucking up to Yongbin made that impossible. He'd almost killed Zhao Kun earlier. If Yongbin decided to retaliate with those three, he was toast. Behind Zhou Xiong stood about 8 members of the Taekwondo club and 2 guys from Dorm 21. The 2 from Dorm 21 hesitated, then stepped out from behind Zhou Xiong and smiled at Yongbin. Hey, Yongbin, what a coincidence. We're with Zhao Kun, but, maybe we could join you instead. Zhao Kun's face turned ugly. He wanted to strangle those turncoats, but he held back. He knew that since he'd chosen to follow Yongbin called the shots. Stepping out of line would definitely piss him off. Yongbin noticed Zhao Kun's expression and asked, "What's the deal with these two?" Zhao Kun made a face and told him everything that had just happened. Yongbin's eyes turned cold. He hated betrayal more than anything. Hey, Yongbin, don't listen to Zhao Kun's side of the story. It was just a temporary thing. We didn't mean to betray anyone. The two quickly protested. Yongbin ignored them and asked Zhao Kun, "What do you want to do with them?" Zhao Kun glared at the 2 guys, his grip tightening on the steel pipe, which terrified them. Zhao Kun, you're not gonna kill us, are you? One of them stammered, looking horrified. Zhao Kun, we've been following you for so long. Doesn't that count for anything? The other pleaded. Zhao Kun raised the steel pipe, then slowly lowered it. Get out of here. And don't let me see you again. Okay, We're going, that the two sighed in relief, forgot about joining Yang Bin, and scrambled towards the door, bang. Bang, their heads exploded, and their headless bodies slumped to the ground. Yang Bin put the barbell down and said coldly, why keep trash like that around? Just to take up space, that everyone was shocked. They hadn't expected Yang Bin to be so ruthless. Zhao Kun's heart skipped a beat. He understood, Yang Bin wasn't just getting rid of traitors, he was sending a message about what happened to them. After killing the two, Yang Bin turned his attention to Zhou Xiong and his group. I heard you guys were pretty cocky. No, not at all. You were bullying my boys. How's that not cocky? But, they weren't your boys back then, Zhou Xiong whined. Doesn't matter. They're my boys now. You bullied my boys, so you owe them an explanation. What kind of explanation are you looking for? Zhou Xiong asked, his voice hardening. He knew things weren't going to end peacefully. Well, since this is your crew, you can handle it yourselves. I'm not gonna say I didn't give you a chance. You fight Zhao Kun. If you win, you can all leave. If you lose, you're staying here. Are you serious? Zhou Xiong's eyes lit up. He and Zhao Kun were both at level 2, but Zhou Xiong was a black belt in Taekwondo. There was no way he could lose. Zhao Kun, however, was alarmed. Hey, Brother Bin, maybe we should think about this. You scared? Not scared, but I might not be able to beat him, Zhao Kun admitted awkwardly. I don't want to embarrass you. Just tell me, are you willing to fight? Yeah, Zhao Kun said firmly. He knew this was a test from Yang Bin. Even if he was sure to lose, he couldn't back down. He'd fight to the death. Good. Yang Bin clapped him on the shoulder, then turned to Zhou Xiong. What do you say? I agree. Absolutely. Zhou Xiong said quickly. But how do I know you won't go back on your word? What if you can't take the loss or someone else jumps in? Don't worry. I swear on my life that this fight will be just between you two, completely fair and square. If you win, you can leave, and my guys won't touch you. Yang Bin said seriously. Okay. I hope you can keep your word and not humiliate yourself later. Don't worry. I'm good for it. Yang Bin smiled. Since we're all set, let's get to it. You're all pretty banged up. Take 5 minutes to rest and heal before starting. Okay. Both sides nodded and quickly sat down to rest. Zhou Xiong sneered at Zhao Kun. Humph, you think you can beat me? I don't know where you get the guts. Zhao Kun said nothing, closing his eyes and trying to recover as much as possible. Liangzi, heal Zhao Kun's wounds, Yang Bin said with a smile. Got it. Hu Wenliang nodded, walked over to Zhao Kun, and reached out to touch his wounds. Zhao Kun was confused, but he didn't resist and let Hu Wenliang touch him. A white light shone where they touched, and Zhao Kun's wounds healed at an unbelievable rate. Everyone's eyes widened. A psychic? A healing psychic. Zhou Xiong exclaimed. You're cheating. Cheating? Didn't I say to rest for 5 minutes and heal each other? You agreed to that. Yeah, but. Zhou Xiong sputtered, unsure how to argue. Yang Bin had said they could rest for 5 minutes to heal, but he hadn't expected this kind of treatment. He thought it was just a chance to catch their breath, but now Zhao Kun would be at full strength while he was still injured, but he couldn't take it back. He'd agreed to it, and Yang Bin hadn't technically broken the rules. He could only grit his teeth and swallow his frustration. Humph, I'm not afraid of you, even if I'm injured. Zhou Xiong snapped. Hu Wenliang spent 2 minutes healing Zhao Kun's most serious wounds. Then, Yang Bin pulled a level 3 crystal out of his pocket and handed it to Zhao Kun. Here, eat this to get your strength back. Chapter 63. You are listening at novelfull.audio. They were at each other's throats. You're cheating. Zhou Xiong yelled, his voice cracking. He'd finally had it. Getting roughed up by a full-fledged fighter was one thing, but getting pummeled by a third-level player when you're barely second level? No way. Cheating. Nah, I'm just chillin', recharging my batteries, Yang Bin chuckled. Recharging your batteries, my ass. Zhou Xiong shot back, eyes wide. Hey, you can have some too, no objections here. Zhou Xiong was speechless. If he had a third-level crystal, he wouldn't still be stuck as a second-level scrub. This doesn't count. It's totally unfair. Zhou Xiong shouted. Fair. Ha. Fair went out the window when the world ended. I'm giving you a one-on-one shot, that's as fair as it gets. It's not your call. You've got 5 minutes to figure out a way to level up. If you can't, that's on you, not my problem, Yang Bin said coldly. Zhou Xiong stammered, but couldn't come up with a comeback. Zhao Kun stared at the crystal, his feelings a jumbled mess. They had to bust their asses for scraps, and this guy just hands it over like it's nothing. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Hurry up and eat it. If you still can't take him, don't bother sticking around, Yang Bin said. Zhao Kun didn't hesitate. He grabbed the crystal and said, dead serious, if I still lose, just take me out back and shoot me. Then, he swallowed the crystal whole. Moments later, he felt the surge. He was a third-level fighter now. Alright, showtime, Yang Bin announced. Can't we just skip it? Zhou Xiong asked, looking defeated. Sure, you can just admit defeat right now, and you and your crew stay here. No way. I'll fight. Zhou Xiong was rattled. Can we at least switch out? Sure, there's 3 of us, pick your poison. Yang Bin gestured to himself and Chen Hao. Fine, I'll fight him. Zhou Xiong was practically in tears. He never thought he'd see the day when he, the big shot, was getting pushed around like this. Soon, they stepped into the arena. Chen Hao handed Zhao Kun his barbell, saying, that thing of yours looks like crap, use mine. Zhou Xiong's face twisted. He glanced at the puny fire axe in his hand, then at the other guy's 6-foot-long barbell. Despair washed over him, but he didn't argue. He knew that with that guy, arguing was pointless. He was at their mercy, forced to play by their rules. They took their stances. Before Yang Bin could even yell go, Zhou Xiong charged at Zhao Kun, swinging his fire axe straight for his neck. Yang Bin frowned, but didn't intervene. This wasn't some game. This was a fight for survival. If Zhao Kun couldn't adapt to the situation, he wouldn't last long in this world. Thankfully, Zhao Kun didn't disappoint. As the fire axe was about to connect, the barbell slammed into Zhou Xiong's chest. Bang! The force of the blow sent Zhou Xiong flying. He was so close to landing the hit, but he missed by a hair. If Zhao Kun was still second level, Zhou Xiong might have been able to shrug off the blow and hack his head off, but Zhao Kun was third level now, too strong. Zhou Xiong couldn't take it. Stumbling to his feet, Zhou Xiong rolled away and scrambled back up, but Zhao Kun didn't give him a chance to breathe. He charged in and swung the barbell again. Desperate, Zhou Xiong raised the fire axe to block. Clang! The ringing sound echoed as Zhou Xiong's hand broke. The fire axe went flying. Zhao Kun didn't hesitate. He swung the barbell up, aiming for Zhou Xiong's head. Zhou Xiong dove out of the way just in time, then jumped up and lashed out with a vicious kick to Zhao Kun's head. Zhao Kun raised the barbell to defend. Zhou Xiong's foot slammed into the metal, and his face contorted in pain. Zhao Kun seized the opening, delivering a brutal side kick to Zhou Xiong's ribs, sending him crashing to the ground again. He followed up instantly, bringing the barbell down with full force. Defenseless, Zhou Xiong raised his arms to shield himself. Bang! A sickening thud. Zhou Xiong's arm snapped, but before he could even scream, Zhao Kun swung again. No! Zhou Xiong shrieked in terror, but there was nothing he could do. The blow landed squarely on his head. Bang! Zhou Xiong's head exploded like a watermelon. As he died, regret finally dawned on him. Why had he ever messed with this guy in the first place? Yang Bin was surprised by how quickly it ended. Zhao Kun was a beast in a fight. He pressed his advantage and never let his opponent get a second chance. Chen Hao and Hu Wenliang were also stunned. This guy was cold. The 7 or 8 guys behind Zhou Xiong were horrified. They stared at Zhou Xiong's headless corpse, frozen in fear. Then, they dropped to their knees, bowing and scraping before Yang Bin and his crew. Please, don't kill us. We didn't want to do this. He made us. Zhao Kun hesitated, glancing at Yang Bin. Yang Bin sighed and said, when you're mowing the lawn, it's best to pull out the roots, too. Either don't kill them at all, or kill them all and leave no loose ends. Got it, Zhao Kun nodded. He knew these guys couldn't be trusted. They enjoyed the perks of being on Zhou Xiong's team. Now they had to pay the price. With Zhou Xiong's personality, they probably bullied their fair share of people. Haozi, Liangzi, lend me a hand. Okay. This time, Hu Wenliang didn't hesitate. Once you cross that line, it gets easier. Amidst curses and screams, the rest of the group was dealt with swiftly. In fact, when Yang Bin asked Hu Wenliang to heal Zhao Kun, he'd already sealed their fate. He couldn't reveal Hu Wenliang's ability just like that. Yang Bin wasn't a killer, but he knew that some people, once crossed, had to be taken care of, otherwise even the smallest of them could cause massive problems down the road. Hu Wenliang and his friends were still students, naive and idealistic. But Yang Bin had seen the darkness in people's hearts, and he wasn't so innocent. As the leader, he had to look out for the team. Chapter 64. You are listening at novelfull.audio. They were swamped. Sorry about yesterday, a little tipsy and still feeling it. Alright, Xiaomi, get that Robin contract signed pronto. Luffy hauled Chopper off him. Yuta and Bonnie got their gifts already, but we'll keep those a surprise for later. Guess away. I haven't figured it out yet. Back in the room, Luffy slipped Nami another 300 million berries. He had so much cash, he couldn't count it all on his hands. After that, everyone got back to their stations, and the Sunny left Fishman Island in short order. Sanji sprawled on deck, looking blissful. Mermaid paradise, baby. Okay, people, time to shake it off. Nami strolled out of Luffy's room. The sea ain't a safe space. We gotta cross that dark water again. Luffy was kicking back in his room with a few friends. Robin heard the commotion, curiosity piqued, and piqued with her powers. Instantly, her face flushed crimson. Nami smirked, seeing Robin's reaction. She'd seen the scene too, and let's just say she wasn't prepared. Their fun was short-lived. The ship ran into a snake current, and Zoro and the others were still hauling up deep-sea fish. Sanji and Brook, however, kept their eyes on the horizon. Nami, Luffy, and the others scrambled out on deck. Is that a white dragon? Robin recalled something. Legend says a massive white whirlpool erupts from the sea floor like a dragon. Ships swallowed by it have been found incredibly far away, drifting on the surface, much later. Meaning everyone on board's dead, right? That's messed up. Run for your lives. Usopp was spooked. Heads up. White dragon. Everybody, steer clear of that whirlpool. Nami shrieked. Spotting the deep-sea fish, she glared at Zoro and company, ignoring Luffy. Ugh. What is that thing? I caught it. What are you doing? You can't just drag a thing like that in. Look, it's getting sucked into the whirlpool. Nami was exasperated. Oh snap, reel it back. Usopp yelled. Zoro and the others reacted. Nah, cut the line. Hey, that's deep-sea fish. ×3. What's more important, dinner or survival? I look away for 10 minutes, and this happens. Nami looked ready to chew them out. System, stash it in the system space. Luffy stood on the deck, and in a flash, the deep-sea fish vanished. Seeing everyone's bewildered faces, Luffy scratched his head sheepishly. Pocket fruit powers, I guess. Frankie, blast some wind. Nami barked the order. Too late for that, super late. Your head's late. Nami was losing it, looking at Luffy hopefully. Luffy, that red giant, use it to get us out of here. Nah, can't yet. No way was Luffy gonna miss seeing the whale migration. I'm being sucked in. Usopp. Yo-ho-ho-ho, this is a tight spot. Brook. Forget it, Kurama time. Luffy clasped his hands. Deep inside him, the nine-tailed fox scoffed. Don't tell me what to do, kid. Chill, whales ahead. You'll be fine. Kurama was a grump, but he'd save Luffy in a pinch. Okay, just wanted to show off. No. Nami. I don't wanna die. Chopper. Everybody hang on tight, just as feared, the Sunny was sucked in. This is bad news. Even the Sunny can't fight a vortex like this. Frankie. Seriously, this is all Zoro's fault. Nami. Can't we bail on this vortex? Brook. No one has ever successfully made it out of the White Dragon. Because. Robin. Everyone buys the farm, right? Forget the new world, we're going to the afterlife. Usopp, Luffy shielded the girls, and amidst the screams, the Sunny slammed into something. It stopped. Luffy sighed in relief, checking out the dazed crew sprawled out on deck. The Sunny's intact. Looks like we hit something and escaped the whirlpool. Nami massaged her throbbing head. At least we're alive. Usopp. I thought I was a goner. Bonnie. Whoa, that was close. What's this black wall? Yuta spotted the whale too, but couldn't see the hockey, so she didn't know it was a whale. Doesn't look like the red line. Brook. It's a whale migration. We bumped into a whale. Luffy stated. A whale? Before Nami could finish, the whale opened its eye, glanced at them, and swam away. It let out a unique cry. That's definitely a whale song. Nami said, awestruck. Check out that scar, it's just like Laboon's. Luffy dropped a hint, Brook burst into tears. Laboon, you got so big. Don't be nuts, Laboon's still in the first half of the Grand Line. Usopp grabbed Brook, afraid he'd jump overboard. That whale couldn't even make it over the red line. A miracle. We found a migration of island whales. Robin said, astonished. This time, there was no ominous tone. Several people had the same head wound as Laboon. Zoro's memory was oddly good. I'm bringing you Bink's sake, Laboon, hold up. Listen to me. Brook had lost it, babbling nonsense. I'm Brook, from the Rumbar Pirates. Dude, chill. You got the wrong whale. Usopp pleaded, pulling Brook back. Is this sightseeing time now? Sanji strutted out. Even if we escaped the whirlpool, it's still dicey. Let's make sure no one got swept away. Head count. Miss Nami. Present. Sister Robin. Here. Miss Yuta. Huh. What? Miss Bonnie. I'm here. Miss Shirahoshi. Mr. Curlybrows. Alright, let's get out of here ASAP. If we slam into one of these whales, we're toast. Sanji conveniently forgot to name the boys. Count us in. Chopper. Sanji, the other 6 made it too. Usopp. Miss Nami, your orders. We stay put. Nami said it directly. Exactly. Stay here, you morons. Go enjoy the whales. Luffy's fist clenched, wanting to punch Sanji. If there's an idiot on this ship, I think you're the biggest one right now. Agreed. Luffy and Zoro chimed in. Luffy, what's your problem, you algae head? Wanna fight? Sanji glared, noticing how close Nami had been sticking to Luffy lately. Not interested. Bring it on, I'm not scared. Usopp and Chopper added, what are you doing, you jerk? This many whales trigger a strong current. Going against it is suicide. Set sail and follow the whales. Nami ordered. Boo-hoo. Oh, it's Laboon's hometown. Any relatives around? To the parents looking for the little whale lost from the pack 50 years ago, rest easy. Brooke was drowning in tears. Chapter 65. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The boat was a total madhouse. This pod of whales is creating a crazy current. It'll be suicide to fight it. Full speed ahead. Steer with the whales. Nami shouted. Woo. Say, isn't this Laboon's old stomping ground? Any relatives around? And to the little whale that went missing from its group 50 years ago, rest easy, buddy. Brooke was practically fizzing with excitement. Careful, Brooke. It's dangerous, Robin warned, concerned. He's doing great in another sea. Luffy told me he's all grown up, so don't you worry. Laboon must be. Brooke suddenly bolted to the stern. Go with the flow. We're good now. Looks like we're riding with the whales for a while. The crew gathered in the center of the deck. Not a bad thing. Yo ho ho, yo ho ho. A familiar tune drifted to them. Brooke had somehow made it to the crow's nest, yo ho ho, yo ho ho. Yuta, let's jam. Luffy glanced at Yuta, channeling this weird, god-level vocal thing, Bink Sake, deliver it to you, let me sail upon the waves are surging, sunset glows, the birds all sing their evening lays. Leaving port, forgetting homeland, singing a song of sailing. The waves are surging, the waves are splashing, a man's a man, venturing around the world. Bink Sake. We pirates ride the waves. Whoa, Luffy can actually sing. Nami stared at Luffy, like he'd suddenly become a national treasure. A whale surfaced, the sunny perched on its head. Hey, are they asking us for a ride? Let's roll with it. Looks like they're surfing the upwelling current. Nami observed the whales. When the song was over, Luffy and Yuta exchanged a look and launched into another. The new era is the future we chase, that if we could just change this place, that if we can change, every hurdle and nasty thing is swept away, let's change together with this world. Music. Is the magic you inspire, close your eyes and the future is revealed to you, the ending. Will never come, sing this song for it.do you wanna play? The real game is full of pain, the melody is like an adventure, unwilling to accept, unable to turn back, wanna forget. Let me continue to stay in my dream that I want to be free, that I have seen that the new era is extending to the other side of the world. Inspired, Luffy decided to solo. He handed the sheet music to Yuta and Brooke for backup. After clearing his throat, Luffy began, the city traffic and the trembling ground, like the calm after a stone sinks to the earth's core, undercurrent, the river flows through her building at the corner, haunted, whispers wake the beast stirring behind, senses are obsolete, only, numbness and apathy linger, our common bedrock has collapsed, but now we have all forgotten who hit the spring and autumn, who after the torrential rain planted the flag atop the highest building, the old guard still clings, their hearts are rotting. The evil city. Lost in the music, the crew swayed along. Then, Luffy pulled out Blue Bird and Show It Ben for Yuta and Brooke, and the trio harmonized again. Spread your wings and fly high, you can reach the end of your dream, remember to keep moving forward, belong to me, blue sky, the taste of sadness of masterpieces, never really understood, taste the bitterness of the past, also keep exploring the present, can I give up? It's that peace, it's that peace. Snow white sky. It's that peace, it's that peace. Snow white sky. It's that peace, it's that peace. Snow white sky. After the song ended, the three read through the lines of the second song, and without any hesitation, they began, living in the same blue sea and blue sky, although we all speak different languages, the environment around us needs everyone to maintain, the air we breathe will be fresher, you can be a good man Limar, shame on you. Don't be selfish and keep making excuses for yourself. My name is Ben, am a good person, show it Ben, watch out Limar, show it Ben, watch out Limar, show it Ben. Watch out Limar. Show it Ben, watch out Limar. Up ahead is the final sea of the Grand Line, the New World. Nami pointed to the horizon. All right. Finally. The crew recalled their 2 years of training, fueled by a shared dream of Luffy becoming king. Yuta was excited, too. After all, that guy was here. Countdown, everyone. During the countdown, Luffy noticed Nami's assets jiggling uncontrollably. He resolved to win her over before Dressrosa. Just looking wasn't cutting it anymore. As the countdown ended, the whales surfaced one by one, pushing the Sunny into the air. We're out. New World. Yes. We finally made it. Hold your horses, it's not time to celebrate yet. Before Usopp could finish, the Sunny's bubble coating burst, sending the ship plummeting. The whales bumped them up, then they dove back into the depths. When we see Laboon, we'll tell him about you. Usopp yelled. Laboon's relatives. Be well. Brook cried. Even though I heard all the stories, the New World is even crazier than I imagined. The weather's insane. The skies turned menacing. Yo-ho-ho, thunder and lightning. Brook. Gale force winds. Robin. Super rough seas. Frankie. The log pose is going nuts. Nami. I see a ship's shadow. Chopper. Pirates on the prowl. Sanji. Wait, that's a warship. Zoro, everyone stared, dumbfounded. The Navy. Chapter 66. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The fog was thick, making for some nasty weather. Suddenly, dozens of ships materialized out of the haze, each sporting a seagull logo on its sails. The crew exchanged puzzled glances. Huh. The Navy, that the warships quickly surrounded the Sunny. What the heck's going on? Usopp exclaimed. It can't actually be the Navy. Frankie added. They're everywhere. We're completely boxed in. Brook cried. Figures the Navy would be onto us, Robin remarked. Surrounded like this, there's nowhere to run, Zoro stated. Robin and Zoro's calm reactions made Usopp snap. How can you guys be so chill about this? Nami, studying the weather, seemed to realize something. This weather. They're getting closer. What do we do, Luffy? Chopper panicked. Straight ahead. Just keep going. There's no Navy vibe on those ships. It's just a New World illusion, right, Nami? Luffy asked, looking at Nami. Luffy's right. As soon as Nami said it, the warships vanished, and the weather cleared. Just a mirage, common in this area. Chopper and Usopp sighed in relief. For them, avoiding unnecessary fights was ideal. Don't let your guard down. If my guess is right. Nami looked up, gasping. If I'm correct. Giant raindrops began to fall from the sky. What's with this weather? Chopper blurted out. This is the Momoganmaru Sea, also known as the Unhappy Sea. Expect the unexpected, Nami explained. Just then, the giant raindrops turned to hail. Hail? Brook asked. So this is a dangerous sea, huh? Sanji commented. It's gonna hit. 360 trouble winds. Zoro roared, immediately swinging his swords, shredding the incoming hail. The rest of the crew launched their own attacks to protect the Sunny. It's coming down, hey, marshmallows. Chopper exclaimed, spotting huge snowflakes. He looked up to see an avalanche plummeting from above. Now it's an avalanche from the sky. Usopp shouted. A burst of color. A giant tree. Suddenly, two giant hands appeared on the Sunny, scooped up the falling snow, formed a massive snowball, and hurled it into the sea. Nice one, Robin. Now it's raining again. If only it was normal rain. Brook quipped, tempting fate. As soon as he finished speaking, the sunny started to tilt. What is it this time? Chopper cried. Could it be? The sea's cracking. Everyone exclaimed. What weirdness is this? Frankie wondered. We're starting to fall. Chopper said. If this keeps up, we'll be back in the deep sea again. Brooke panicked. No, we'll smash into a rock on the way down and turn to dust. Robin predicted. Don't say stuff like that so easily. Usopp exclaimed. What do we do, Luffy? Yuta asked calmly. After all, she'd been on Shank's ship. Even Luffy, who was experiencing it firsthand, was baffled, but he jumped off the ship directly. Leave it to me, Susanoo. The red giant reappeared, sprouting wings and grabbing the sunny to pull it free. It's Luffy! Usopp exclaimed. Then, lightning struck from the sky. Enel's voice echoed, Don't thank me. I'm just returning the favor for that punch back then. But Luffy and the others hadn't escaped the area yet. Now it's blazing hot. Chopper commented. That was a close call. Usopp added. But you're amazing, Nami. You know the New World weather so well. Brooke praised. I've been studying everything I can about the New World for the last 2 years, Nami said. Nami and the other women were all wearing cool clothes. Luffy admired them, yes, just admired, not in a greedy way. Hot weather is perfect for a drink. Zoro declared. Oh yeah, our deep-sea fish. Soon, Luffy and the others started trying to catch the little giant Lily, just like before. After they caught her, they decided to rescue Lily's father, Pan's Fry. Lily was deeply touched. Luffy and the others split into 2 groups. Luffy started to save Lily's father. Of course, they couldn't follow orders, and soon they ran into the navy. After Sanji and Zoro kicked Pansfree's chains, Luffy peeled off the paper on Pansfree's head, smiling. The flying squirrel spotted Luffy. It's Straw Hat Luffy. Hey, Luffy, the chains are cut. Zoro said from behind Luffy. That's the pirate hunter Zoro. Not just the straw hats, that guy. The Navy looked at Sanji, unable to place him. Who is that? Sanji from the Straw Hat crew. Realizing that his wanted poster was so different, Sanji was furious. If it weren't for that stupid picture, he could have charmed every lady in the world. Where did they come from? The Navy was stunned, clueless about how Luffy and his crew had arrived. Nami started giving Frankie instructions, while Luffy told Lily on his shoulder to go to her father. Straw Hat Boy. I won't let you escape this time. Flying Squirrel charged forward with his sword. Luffy dodged, and Zoro stepped in to engage. A Vice Admiral? Yep, he's pretty tough, Vice Admiral Flying Squirrel. Have fun with Zoro. Luffy said, adjusting his straw hat. He was now wearing a couple outfit with the Empress. Huh, is that so? A full-scale war is inevitable. Sanji said, dodging bullets and using Moon Step to take down several sailors in seconds. Suddenly, many fish flew out of the sea, and Luffy smiled. You're finally here. Soon, Shuzo flew here, but was thrown directly onto the deck of the Navy by Luffy. Ahem, who did that? Shuzo. Flying Squirrel was shocked. Why was he here? Hadn't he left the Navy? Oh, if it isn't Flying Squirrel. Hand this guy over and I'll let you go. If you don't, well. Shuzo ignored Luffy, who had knocked him down, attributing it to luck. Why? You used to be a great marine. Why would you do this? Flying Squirrel was confused. He wanted to know. Isn't it just the new Navy story? I'm tired of hearing about it. Luffy picked his ear and flicked it. He was looking at Shuzo. Huh? Who are you? Shuzo must have been running on dial-up, because he didn't recognize Luffy. Luffy didn't answer, knowing that Shuzo's men would. Mr. Shuzo, that's Luffy, the straw hat boy with a 2 billion bounty. A new Navy soldier announced, brandishing Luffy's wanted poster. Oh, a big shot, eh? Well, now that you know about our new Navy, don't think you're leaving here alive. Shuzo said conceitedly. That depends on whether you can stop me. Luffy retorted, equally confident. But Luffy had the skills to back it up, while Shuzo, not so much. If Shuzo wasn't careful, Flying Squirrel would arrest him and toss him and impel down. Luffy didn't want to go back there. Maybe he'd visit when he wanted to see the women in Impel Down, but that was a story for another time. Without another word, they charged at each other. Chapter 67. You are listening at novelfull.audio. They were both dead. Humph, Flying Squirrel, you wanna know? I'll tell ya. Shuzo couldn't believe Luffy could beat him so easily. Truth was, Luffy had been holding back, worried he might accidentally kill Shuzo. We, the Neo Navy, are comrades united by our concern for the state of the New World. We're here to wipe out the pirates. You deliberately escorted those lowlifes to Impel Down, letting them rot there. It's a joke. In the name of Mr. Zephyr. We'll execute the pirate Pansfree right here, right now. Zephyr. Hearing that name stunned Flying Squirrel, and Zoro took him down. Luffy, seeing the fight was over, stopped holding back. Shut up with all the blather. I can't believe Zephyr trained a guy like you. Luffy unleashed his full power, his speed hitting a whole new level. Shuzo, who used to easily block his attacks, suddenly found it almost impossible. Even if Shuzo was dense, he knew he couldn't win. He tried to run, but Luffy's words enraged him, not even as good as Ein. That stung Shuzo to the core. He was about to go at Luffy again, but Flying Squirrel had already slapped him in seastone cuffs. Luffy was nowhere to be seen, having tossed away the Vivre card. Luffy and the others finally got their volcanic grub. Flying Squirrel looked down at Shuzo and said, I'm throwing you an Impel Down. Impel Down? You kidding me? I won't talk, no matter what you do to me. You want to kill me, do it here. Kill me in the New World. Shuzo would rather die than give in. But Flying Squirrel shut him up with one sentence. No. This is a matter of law. This is naval justice. Meanwhile, in a certain part of the New World, what you feared has come to pass. If I'd just held firm a little longer, this wouldn't have happened. I'm so sorry. Ein said to Zephyr, who was standing opposite her. Do you think the Navy will catch wind of the plan? Zephyr put down his newspaper. The headline screamed about former Navy Admiral Shuzo being captured and hauled off to Impel Down. He said slowly, don't worry. He'll never crack, no matter what they do to him. He's one of my new Navy, through and through. Yes, sir. Teacher Zephyr. We're approaching Foz Island. A voice crackled over the den mushy. Good. Time to attack. Shock them. The end of the New World is at hand. We will crush every last pirate with our own hands. Time flew by. Foz Island. The war between the Navy and the Neo Navy had begun. Surround them. Someone in the Navy yelled. Zephyr walked off his ship, muttering, crush all the pirates. He charged into the fray. Ein and Bins were mowing down guys left and right. I'm doing this for Teacher Zephyr. If you looked closely, you could tell that Ein wasn't smiling at all. Her face was stone cold. For Teacher Zephyr, I'll give it everything I've got. It was clear that Bins was just as loyal to Zephyr. Crushing blast. Crush heavy blow. Zephyr, being a former admiral, was more than a match for two giants at once, taking them down in seconds. Zephyr, having achieved his goal, turned to retreat, but ran smack into Kizaru. Yasakani no Magatama. Laser beams fired from his feet, but Zephyr raised his hand to block them. Kizaru, still playing it cool, approached Zephyr. Oh, hey there, Zephyr, old teacher. What's up? Borsalino, I should have told you not to rely so much on the power of the glint fruit. Zephyr looked at his former student with no sympathy. Still as strict as ever, Zephyr, old teacher. Kizaru drew the Ama no Murakumo sword. They began a battle of wits and courage. I've given up that name. I'm Z now. Zephyr spat, raising his mechanical arm to punch Kizaru. The two traded blows with no clear winner. The sword clashed against the mechanical arm, sending sparks flying. The force of the impact sent chunks of earth flying. In this corrupt navy, Admiral Kizaru, you're a little too cocky for your own good. Zephyr wasn't underestimating Kizaru, but he knew Kizaru leaned too heavily on the devil fruit instead of his own skill. I'm not just here to reminisce. Another laser blast was easily blocked by Zifa, but he was starting to wear down. How can your heavy weapon keep up with my speed? What are you planning to do with the Dyna stones? I've always been the most incompatible with you. Zifa looked at his most rebellious student and wanted to teach him a lesson. He charged forward. Then give me back the Dyna stones. Kizaru wasn't fazed. He appeared on a boulder behind Zifa. The Dyna stones surpass even the ancient weapons. Here's a souvenir. As soon as the stones touch oxygen, boom. Zifa seemed to have a trick up his sleeve. Oh. Kizaru quickly retreated. Here, catch. Zifa hurled a Dyna stone right at Kizaru's face. The explosion went off. It was hard to tell if either of them survived. On the Neo Navy ship in the distance, I'm watched with worry. After the explosion, she whispered, Teacher Z. That was a pain. He tricked me. Kizaru reappeared on the rocks at the edge of the island, completely unharmed. Ah, what's the Navy doing? A familiar voice called out. A man was riding a bicycle across the water. Luffy had been living the high life these past few days, with only one thing left to do with Nami. Sanji, watching them, was sad for a long time, until Luffy promised that he'd find a wife of his own one day. Chapter 68. You are listening at novelfull.audio. They were married. Luffy's been living like a king lately. He and Nami are practically inseparable, which has Sanji in the dumps. Luffy reassured him he'd find his own girl someday. Right now, the crew's throwing a party on the island. Luffy, Yuta, and Brook are putting on a show for the Straw Hats. Luffy even whipped up a new tune in minutes. Suddenly, a cloud of black smoke drifts over the sunny. Chopper drops his milk and hits the deck. Ugh. Poison. It's super toxic. What's wrong, Chopper? Frankie asked. Where'd it come from? Zoro questioned. Poison, wait a minute. Brook exclaimed, remembering something. Got a clue? Frankie asked, hopeful, but Brook just started singing, Please enjoy the song, of leaked poison. It's a song. And the wine tastes, hold on, is it supposed to be spicy? Zoro said, he was very observant of the taste of alcohol. He noticed something was off after taking a sip. Meanwhile, Luffy stared at the island where the explosion happened last night, now completely barren. He knew Zephyr had left the Marines, just like in the story. He muttered, do we have to fight again? That the others were too busy worrying about Chopper to notice. It's always so lively, Robin said, smiling at the happy crew. Bonnie, Shirahoshi, and Usopp stood nearby. Usopp, the one responsible for the poison gas, was watering flowers shirtless like nothing was wrong. Pop greens, producing tons. Usopp, pest control expert. Protecting you from bugs. Usopp, you're the culprit. Luffy said, Chopper drank milk laced with your pesticide. He was standing right underneath. Besides, it's pesticide. If it kills you, you are a pest. Usopp retorted, not wanting to take the blame. Really? That's a relief. Guess we're not bugs, Zoro said, walking aside. He sat down and started drinking again. My tongue's a little numb, but it's not bad. Oh, it's okay. Chopper, who was lying on the ground, perked up immediately. Luffy just rolled his eyes. If he wasn't so cute, Luffy would smack him. Chopper took another sip of his milk. It's a little bitter. Is this what being an adult tastes like? Robin, watering flowers, said, pesticides are still bad for you, you know. I am the Sakura front, slowly heading north. Frankie declared. Mr. Luffy, the Sakura front is about to end. Brook exclaimed. Luffy just ignored them and went to Nami, who was reading under an umbrella. He wrapped his arms around her, making her chest bounce. Nami's face turned pink. Luffy, what are you doing? I missed you. Let me hold you while you read, Luffy whispered in her ear. Fine, whatever. They're so loud. Can't they be quiet for once? Nami asked. She's used to Luffy hugging her like this. Okay, just read. They're just excited, Luffy said, patting Nami to calm her down. You guys are so noisy. Sanji walked over to Nami. Here's your special drink, Nami Swan. Seeing Luffy hugging Nami, Sanji's heart broke. He looked at Luffy unhappily and put the juice on Nami's side. He didn't want to see Luffy kiss Nami in front of him again. If he did, he might quit the crew. He started serving drinks to the other girls. Thanks, Sanji-kun. Go back to work, Nami told him. Luffy didn't even ask, knowing Nami would feed him. Nami, I'm thirsty. Fine, here, Nami said, taking a sip of her drink and kissing Luffy, passing it to him. Luffy rubbed Nami's face. Nami smiled. They each took a sip. Nami was a little frustrated because she was ready to go all the way with Luffy, but he still hadn't made a move. She was supposed to be the first, but Luffy had 3 other women when he returned, along with a mermaid princess. She was actually 5th. She decided to take the initiative tonight, twisting her body in Luffy's arms. My little thief cat princess is getting impatient. I'm flattered, Luffy said with a smirk, sensing her intentions. I'm not. Nami kept avoiding his eyes. Really? I was thinking about spending the night with you. But if you don't want to, that's fine, Luffy said, pretending to be disappointed. Nami perked up. I do. She kissed Luffy, no longer holding back. Sanji didn't look at Nami again, fearing he wouldn't be able to take it. After delivering the juice, he returned to the kitchen. No one noticed Luffy and Nami kissing. It wasn't until Nami couldn't breathe that Luffy let her go. Nami glared at him. Damn it, she thought, he almost made her lips swell. Chapter 69. You are listening at novelfull.audio. They were super close. Sanji, I'm craving some snacks. Nami called out, then went back to kissing Luffy. Luffy felt his breath catch in his throat, but he played it cool. At your service, Miss Nami. Sanji was a total simp, and Nami was close to falling head over heels for Luffy. Luffy glanced at Nami, who was giggling in his arms, and playfully threatened, just you wait till tonight, you little minx. Whatever. Nami shot him a flirty wink before leaning in for another kiss. She wanted to soak up as much of him as she could, since it wasn't her night. Little did she know, Luffy didn't like to share first experiences. It's the most important moment in a girl's life. He would never do it with others. But they'll definitely do it after sleeping together. Meanwhile, the rest of the Straw Hat started hitting up Sanji for food too. Sanji, exasperated, snapped, can't you guys be polite? You gotta say, please, when you ask someone for something, you bunch of idiots. I'm here for the ladies. Suddenly, Sanji froze. It was like the sky was snowing. What is this stuff? Robin. It's snow. Chopper. Nah, if it was snow, it'd be cold. Zoro. What's going on? Nami sat up, looking around. Is it volcanic ash? Volcanic ash? Everyone except Luffy looked at Nami, puzzled. Ew, gross. Chopper scrubbed his face. You've got volcanic ash in your fur, Robin pointed out. I'll take a shower later. Nami stared at the log pose, her expression serious. Frankie turned to her. Hey, Nami, you picking up anything? The needle's going haywire, spinning all over the place. It's like a kid who's lost and can't find their parents, Nami said, frowning at the log pose. Lost? What do you mean? Like, the volcano that spewed out this ash erupted and wiped the whole island off the map, Nami explained. The whole island's gone. No way. Frankie scoffed. Welcome to the new world, Nami shot back, as if to say, who's the navigator here, you or me? I'm basically the strongest member of this crew, even if Luffy's getting me all flustered. Right. Don't argue, just bask in Miss Nami's beauty. Sanji, ever the simp, handed Nami the snacks he'd made. Luffy, come grab some snacks. Nami called out, and Sanji's heart shattered into a million pieces. Miss Nami, those were made especially for you. If that rubber idiot wants some, I'll make him his own batch, Sanji said, his voice laced with despair. No need, I can't eat all this, and Luffy's appetite hasn't been great lately. I gotta keep an eye on him. Hurry up, Luffy, or I'll eat them all myself. Nami took a bite and waited for Luffy. Coming. Luffy replied. Stupid rubber. Sanji grumbled and went to sulk in the kitchen. Hold on, Luffy said I have my own dream girl and she's beautiful. Long story short, we're avoiding whatever island this log pose is pointing to, no matter what. Nami looked at Luffy, wanting to know what he thought. Nah, I think I know what's going on over there. If we don't do something, it could destroy the whole new world, Luffy said. I'll go check things out first. Wait, Luffy, let's go together. Nami didn't try to stop him. She knew Luffy wouldn't change his mind. Looking at the happy Luffy and others, Nami felt proud. I'm a navigator. If you want to go somewhere, I will definitely take you there. Luffy pulled Nami into a hug. I'll never let you get hurt. Unless we're getting younger, that doesn't count. Nami was confused by Luffy's words. But she still smiled, patted Luffy's hand and said, I'm counting on you to stand guard, old man. Nami blushed and hid behind Robin. Robin covered her mouth and chuckled twice. Looks like Nami can get shy after all. Hey, Robin, why don't you go after Luffy too? Nami's trying to set up Robin and Luffy. Gotta say, she's a good friend. Well, it sounds nice, but are you sure you want me to? And would I even be a good fit? Robin thought about it, and it was a bit good. Then she thought about the age difference between herself and Luffy. She shook her head. Why not? I heard they say the Pirate Empress is 12 years older than Luffy. How can you and him not be a good fit? Nami said. It depends on Luffy's thoughts, Robin said, giving an ambiguous answer. She still remembered that after seeing Luffy and Yuta, she had been secretly looking at a few people. She was also a woman. Hey, Nami, is this really a good idea? In the new world, the choice of 3 routes determines life and death. Usopp looked at Nami, who was already staring at Luffy, and interrupted directly. Nami's eyes were full of confusion. Frankie, turn left 20 degrees. Nami didn't pay attention to Usopp first, but looked at the log pose and directed the course. Although you don't know what's ahead, just accept your fate. There's nothing you can do. Who makes him our captain? I think that adventurous streak of yours has been rubbing off from Luffy, Usopp muttered. Nami chuckled. Maybe. Meanwhile, Luffy finally spotted Zifa on the piece of driftwood, stretched out his arms, scooped him up, and leaped back towards the ship. If you spot any survivors, get them aboard, stat. Chopper. They hauled Zifa onto the deck, and Chopper started checking his vitals. How is he? Is he alive? Usopp asked. His pulse is weak, but he's just unconscious. He's gonna be okay, Chopper reported, relieved. Did we just pick up some more baggage? Nami groaned. That face looks familiar. Didn't expect it to be him, Luffy said casually. What are you talking about, Luffy? You know this guy? Usopp asked, surprised. Luffy wasn't just some random, goofy kid anymore. Oh yeah, he's Zephyr, Black Arm, former admiral and the teacher of the current 3 admirals. Chapter 70. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The article's getting a fresh coat of paint, so hang tight. My bad, folks. Had a couple of crazy days. Didn't save a draft. Sorry. Admiral of the Navy. Everyone yelled. And get this, he taught our current 3 admirals. Talk about powerful. Usopp, pointing at the unconscious Zephyr, blurted out, shouldn't we tie him up? Zephyr's done with the Navy. That incident pushed him out. He's a tragic figure, really. Even though he's doing some crazy stuff now, I'll handle it, Luffy said, a confident grin spreading across his face. Zephyr's fate was a question mark. This thing's made of sea stone, Robin murmured, touching Zephyr's mechanical arm and feeling a wave of weakness wash over her. Yep, sea stone all right. If he's the enemy, why not just toss him overboard? Zoro suggested bluntly. Nah, I don't want to. If you patch him up, he might try to kill you. But I'm a doctor. I can't just stand by and watch, Chopper insisted, his eyes meeting everyone else's. A doctor's gotta do what a doctor's gotta do. Heal him, Chopper. I need his help with something, Luffy said, giving Chopper a look of total trust. Okay, thanks, Luffy. Hey, we gotta look out for each other. Soon enough, inside Chopper's makeshift medical bay, Zephyr stirred and groaned. Luffy, he's waking up. Chopper yelped, bouncing over. Luffy grinned like a Cheshire cat. Looks like it. Outside, Zoro, hearing the commotion, unsheathed his sword. Hey, shitty cook. Keep your shirt on, Mosshead. I heard it too, Sanji snapped back. Check this out. I picked up some serious vibes, Zoro exclaimed, sensing Zephyr's immense power, his eyes wide with excitement. Easy there. Don't try to get up, Chopper said, gently holding Zephyr down. You washed up on the shore. Remember anything? Zephyr rubbed his head, looking confused. Yeah, I do. Thanks for patching me up. Looks like you saved my life again, document. It's Chopper. Dr. Chopper, you're a real lifesaver, Zephyr said sincerely, causing Chopper to freak out. He just got a good doctor stamp from Zephyr. Knock it off. You're making me blush, you jerk. Chopper stammered, hiding his face. You're the captain of this ship, right? Zephyr asked, looking at Luffy. He clearly didn't recognize him. I've seen a lot of young guys like you. I'm pretty good at reading people. Well, you did train most of the Navy, didn't you? Old man Zephyr. Zephyr blinked, surprised. Didn't think anyone your age would know me. But I'm not Zephyr anymore. I'm Z. Hey, wanna hitch a ride to the next island? Luffy asked casually, waiting for Zephyr to make his move. I've got a Beaver card. My people are tracking me. Whoa, that weapon of yours is sweet. Where'd you get it? Chopper blurted out. Luffy knew better than to ask something like that. Some crazy Navy scientist built it. After a bastard pirate chopped off my right arm. It's a battle smasher. The sea stone limb drains power from ability users, then it just blasts them with overwhelming firepower. Zephyr sighed, gazing at his mechanical arm. Hey, Dr. Chopper, I wouldn't recommend swinging something like that around. You can't take it off without special tools, so if you fell into the ocean. Say, Zephyr, that pirate you mentioned, was that Whitebeard Jr.? I can't stand that guy. What were the world government thinking, making him a warlord of the sea? Luffy scoffed, shaking his head at the world government's decisions. Whatever. I'm not Navy anymore. I'm fighting for my own cause. Tell me, kid, what's your name, anyway? Zephyr asked. He was getting intrigued by this Whitebeard Jr., hating kid. Better if you don't know. Keeps us both safe. If you're at loose ends, maybe check out the Revolutionary Army. Here, read these first. Luffy handed Zifa a stack of Dragon's pamphlets. Zifa took them without a word and started reading. The more he read, the more shocked he became. These are some bold ideas. I'll stick to my plan for now. But if that doesn't work. Kid, what's your role in the Revolutionary Army? Never heard of you. Chill, Zifa. I'm the star in the Revolutionary Army, second only to the top dog and the chief of staff. But I'm also a pirate. Luffy finally admitted to being a pirate. So, you're pirates, Zifa said, rising to his feet, mechanical arm raised to strike. Luffy, anticipating this, blocked the blow. Hey, if you want to throw down, take it outside. I need to unwind and see if I can sway you to join the revolution on the way. Luffy didn't want to have to repair the ship. Straw Hat, why become a pirate? Zifa and Luffy slowly made their way out of the medical bay. To become king of the pirates, of course. Luffy declared, straightening his hat. King of the pirates? You said, king of the pirates. Zephyr roared, clenching his mechanical fist and charging forward. In a flash, he was attacking Luffy again. Zoro and Sanji immediately jumped in to assist, but Zephyr held his own, fighting them both simultaneously. He's super strong. Chopper yelled. Everyone could see how dangerous Zephyr was. Brook, let's get in there. Usopp yelled, rushing forward to help. Right. Brook agreed. Hold on, Zoro, Sanji, Usopp, Brook, fall back. I'll take him. Zephyr, my name is Monkey D. Luffy. Show me what you've got. Luffy declared, deciding to fight bare-handed, a vulnerable position given their size difference. Just then, Zephyr's students arrived. Here we go. A man and a woman leaped off the ship, crashing onto the Sunny. I am Baines Adumir Ein of the New Navy. This pirate ship is surrounded. Stop resisting. It'll only make things worse. Seriously, Zifa, are your buddies a little slow on the uptake? They think they can take on our whole crew with just a couple of people. Luffy asked, looking at Zephyr who was already breathing heavily.